Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter, because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our amazing Fresh Starts experts, Jenn Johnson. Jen, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I do a lot of things,
You
but
do.
in a little bit of a nutshell is I like to help people change into the best version of themselves personally and professionally. So I use my yoga, hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming skills, all that stuff, trauma background with my marketing background to help people discover like what their true calling is and then actually make that calling come to life.
I love that so much. And you really do so many things, and you are so brilliant. Like, you have a brilliant marketing mind. Oh, I always love chatting with you about that. So, let's talk about, fresh starts and divorce and life
Mhm.
transformations. Every time we go through this like goo phase and trying to figure out this butterfly phase, right? It's like we have to rebrand ourselves. And sometimes it's easier to think about that from a perspective of like through a marketing lens or a branding lens, right? So when you work with people, Jen, or if somebody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce, how can we view this transformation through that marketing branding lens?
So I love the visual you do of that whole chrysalis because it's actually called the pupa,
Oh, okay.
Pupa. So it's like I had a workshop called What the Pupa,
I
and
love that.
that's that opportunity for us to go through a hard life challenge
Yeah.
and like divorce and to take the time to sit with it and to just rediscover ourselves and using that kind of marketing piece of saying all right, this is who I was,
Yep.
this is who I am, this is who I want to be, and how do I make that happen? So we can, looking through a marketing lens, we can really authenticate who we want to be and create action steps to make it happen.
Okay, so what are some of those action steps? Like if somebody is listening to this and they're like, maybe I just got out of a divorce process or I'm currently in the divorce process and I'm looking for some guidance on like where do I even begin kind of this transformational time? What would you say are some easy ways you can do that?
Well, just kind of like take stock of everything you have in your life now. Like what I tend to tell people is create a list of the things that you really love and the things that you really want to leave behind. And
Mm,
then you can, and also your strengths, because sometimes your strengths aren't exactly what you really love, but they're the things that can help propel you into what you really
mm,
love. So really, a good exercise is maybe creating just lists of what you want to do or what you are happy with in your life in the moment. Because even though sometimes darkness is happening, there's always some kind of shed of light. Like even if it's like a Friends
mm.
episode or like, your puppy or a
Yeah.
friend, and then you
Yeah.
can kind of, move on from that and just expand upon it because the possibilities from one small thing is actually endless. We
Mm.
always get stuck in this kind of microcosmic type of attitude of being like, okay, this is what I have in this moment, and that's it. And we can't look beyond it because we're stuck with this lens of pain and hurt and trauma because, it's a traumatic experience.
Mhm.
But it's like, all right, what feels really good in my body? What feels really good in my heart? Latch onto that, and then when you latch onto that, then you move on and you can expand upon it.
I love that you said to make those lists and that your strengths may not be the thing that you love to do, but it may be something that you're really good at.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really cool way to like start building your confidence back up after
Mhm.
divorce. So I want to like really look at this. Like I want to lean into the marketing perspective here,
Sure.
right? Because so much of like going through a divorce is that transformation of like I was a wife and now I'm divorced or now I'm a
Mhm.
single person again. Could we have a little fun, Jen, with like rebranding ourselves, like colors
Yeah.
and fonts and like all the fun stuff? Like what would you do there?
So a way that I market a company or a brand is that I make it a person. So
Mm,
maybe we reverse engineer this and we make ourselves the business. Like what's the business that we want to be in? We want to be in the business of being like, you know, fun and hot and
Yeah.
sexy or whatever, or smart and just
Yeah,
kind of
confident, right? Yeah.
exploding,
Yep.
confident. Um, and we can lean into that with how we approach ourselves as a business, which is what
Mhm.
we really are. Like as people, we are
Yep.
our own business.
Yeah.
And so it's, I have this great person that I follow on Instagram, and she uses clothes to really express yourself. But she has a whole program that you can go through where you take the fear out of that to really step into who you are. So it's like maybe it's something like that, or creating like even how you communicate. Maybe you don't
Mm.
text anymore. Maybe you call now, or maybe you write a letter. It's like,
Yeah.
how are you going to communicate as your personal brand? What are you going to have around you? What are your events as a personal brand, as a
Mm.
marketer? Maybe
Mm.
you don't go to the events that you used to go to that kind of was a bummer, but you had to because you were a mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you go to like some cool event that you never wanted to or never thought you could do,
Right.
like a tango class or whatever. Like
Love that.
that's that list too. Like, what do you
Yeah.
want to explore? And then that is part of the brand from a marketing piece because you're speaking your truth as who you are.
Oh, I love that so much, and I could see how much fun, like, working with you, right? So somebody listening to this and they're like, I need to feel better about myself and step into that
Mhm.
confidence." Like, how fun would that be, right? To work with you and be like, "Well, we're gonna pick new brand colors for your personal lifestyle, like, and new fonts and new images." I mean, I remember after my divorce, I leaned heavily into, like, very, like, 1970s vintage style, music and plants and, like, all that fun stuff. And it made me feel like really excited about my future. And so I love this idea of, like, you know, taking all this hard shit that you went through and saying, like, well, now I'm gonna turn it into this really cool business. I think that's awesome.
And you know what else? It's like it's giving yourself permission to allow it to happen because I know in my own experience, I was with somebody for a long time and like he was heart like everything was blue and green.
Yeah.
Everything was perfectly placed. And I just remember coming out of that and being like, I'd always think blue and green when I was with
Right.
him. And
Right.
now I'm like, I mean, I want blue, but do I want that? Like, that's what he
Yeah.
would like. What do I like?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that
Right.
reimagining what
Right.
your own personal taste is, your own
Yeah.
personal branding, all that stuff, and actually having fun with it because
Yeah.
sometimes we get stuck in someone else's
Totally.
idea of what we should be doing.
And that's, like, the whole point of where Fresh Starts came from. I mean, that's the whole we always say, like, building a registry is not about the stuff, right? It's about picking
Hmm.
items for the first time that bring you joy, right? The
Yeah.
artwork and the flower pots and all of that good stuff. So, Jen, if somebody's listening to this, and they're like, "I wanna work with Jen," I
Yep.
know you do so many things, but what are some things that you could do with people?
So the way that I look at how I work with people, you can start like so say we're starting fresh and you just don't know what to do, but you want to do something. So whether it's you want to create a business for yourself or you want to pivot for who you are into your potential. So you could work with me with figuring out what that thing is,
Mm,
because sometimes that's the hardest part where we go through exercises,
yeah.
maybe release some limiting beliefs, use all these tools that we've gained as we've trained together in the past
Yep.
and create that base of what we want to work off of. And
Mm.
then because maybe you want to open a plant shop, but you don't know
Mhm.
how to open that's your dream, like that's the soul call to you,
Right.
but you don't know what to, but let's figure out, is that your
Yeah.
soul call? And
Yeah.
also, a lot of people say, I have to do this.
Right.
I have to do this business. Another way to work with me is let's figure it out. Is that really what you want to do? Because is it what you want to do?
Mm. Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to figure out what we
Yeah.
really want to do and then go do it.
Yeah.
So
I love
hold the
that.
hands and join in the journey is what I like to do.
I love that. I also could see people working with you to, like, get back into dating. Like,
So I have a great idea with that.
yeah, tell
S-
us.
So there, it like I feel like because I've been working on pitch decks lately,
Yep, that's what
and
I
I
was
think
thinking of, yeah.
and I think it would be amazing to have like an event where your friend creates a PowerPoint presentation, like a dating event,
Love it, I love
and
it.
then it's all PowerPoint presentations of like why you should date this person and like
Well,
use it like a
we
business
definitely,
model.
yeah, that sounds like a fresh starts event that we gotta start planning. I love that so much. And of course, you can find Jen over at Fresh Starts Registry in the expert guide, and you do so many marketing things and life coaching and
Mhm.
like anything you need. Honestly, Jen can probably help you with it. So go reach out to Jen. Jen, if somebody is going through a divorce and they're listening to this episode, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave them with?
Your potential is unlimited and that what you want to do is valid and go for it.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love it. Thank you so much for being here, Jen.
you're welcome. Thank you.